Should we light up?
We should definitely do that. I've been indulging.
Tell me about the roll today, Nia.
The roll today, pink papers from Elements. Personally,
it's matching your shirt.
Personally, I'm a Blazy Susan girl myself, but you know, this Element has been pretty nice. I'm having a great time. And what is it? This is the Eclipse. This is the Eclipse Maui Wowie, which we procured from where? Not Fulton, New York. It was
somewhere. Nia and Vonnie and I drove up from the city to first Syracuse. We got to Syracuse.
And it was
mad people at this lake. And Syracuse is only going to get like a minute of totality.
Yeah, it was like a minute and 20 seconds. I was like, bro, for 4 hours?
But we did so good.
We did.
Getting up and getting on the way that morning that we had a 45-minute jump before the real eclipse. So we were able to drive further west, further into the path, and we got to where it was like 3.5 minutes in Fulton, New York.
And it was just like gray as hell. But then it just started getting darker and darker, like over the water, because we were also like looking at the water. Bro, it was beautiful.
We really live on a planet. Mm-hmm. That's what it was that everyone just went outside around the same time of that day to like look at the sky and be fucking humbled.
Bro, it was completely silent.
Way less heads at the lake. It felt more intimate. It didn't feel like a tourist attraction. It felt like we really out here in Fulton, New York.
Just witnessing.
Looking at a shadow.
Something that won't happen.
That they knew about forever. I saw a newspaper clip from the 70s. They were talking about April 8th, 2024.
Wow.
It's going to be an eclipse. They didn't know if we would have nuked ourselves by now, but they knew even if we did, this shadow would have gone across North America.
The ashes of North America, the smoldering ashes of our world.
And when's the next one?
The next one, I think the next one that like we can see without being in the middle of the ocean is like in Spain in 7 years.
But then the next American one is what, like 2044 or something?
Yeah.
Do you think we'll be around to witness that one, Nia?
Not without a hazmat suit on. And do you want to know why?
Why?
Well, let's find out on the Morning Bleezy.
Damn right. This is the Morning Bleezy. It's a pod that we rolled up just for you, for your commute to that whack-ass job that you don't want to go to. I am one of your hosts, Jake.
And I'm the other host, Nia. Hi.
Hey.
Good morning. Happy 6 a.m.
Happy fucking Monday.
Happy Monday.
Another
The Rock
one.
Consumes.
Remember Monday? Now it's this Monday. But you know what? Next week it'll be next Monday, and you'll be wishing you enjoyed this Monday. So
the weather. Happy spring. It's no longer false spring. You can finally leave the house with... What? You can finally leave the house without wearing like that heavy ass puffer jacket. Me wearing the heavy ass puffer jacket. I was sweating my ass off on my way here. You don't need that now. However, do not forget the Flonase. Do not forget the Zyrtec.
Nia, it's crazy that you say that, because you know what I did?
What?
About 2 weeks ago?
You forgot it?
I forgot the fucking Flonase.
Can't do that.
I was away. I was in Florida the week right before we saw the eclipse, and I ran out of Flonase in the hotel. You know, out of sight, out of mind, that object permanence, working on it. So it took me until I was absolutely stuffed up. Like, I have a fucking cat, and I think the Flonase is high key like a big part of my everyday existence with my cat. Love Bella, and I don't.
Damn, you
it doesn't really. I've been allergic to cats my whole life, and when I got her, it was kind of rolling the dice.
Yep.
It was like because like some cats I'm cool with. This one cat. Shout out to my cousin's cat Goose, but she almost killed me, man.
Damn.
So
we love you, Goose.
I didn't know with Bella, but I take a Claritin every morning, and I take 2 puffs each nostril, and it's cool, it's fine. But I had to get like 3 days into like a miserable sinus situation to realize I hadn't been taking Flonase for like a week.
That's dark. Yeah, that's appropriate.
Don't forget that shit. I'm back on the Flonase, but still trying to get that shit out my lungs.
Flonase. Don't even do that.
To go back for a second to Fulton, New York.
Oh, yes.
It's post-eclipse. It's after Dark 1, but before Dark 2. But we were by some train tracks. And I guess the three of us were looking at this oncoming train, like three motherfuckers who were like,
super hard.
Train!
Like looking mad.
The train!
Would you look at it? Was just moving so
train.
Slow and like it was really big.
It had cars.
It did.
And they each looked a little different and had cool. different things.
And they had, some of them had like really cool graffiti on it. And it was just like, it was making mad noise. And then the train conductor waved at us and he honked the horn.
He knew.
Bro.
I felt very red.
Yeah.
I felt seen. I felt a little violated. I was like, how did he know that?
How did he know?
Him, yeah. Just locked onto the train.
He was like, I've never felt so fucking hype in my life. That was great.
That was traffic.
That was traffic.
Sports.
Shout out sports. Women's college basketball. Shout out Angel Reese. I hope she's getting bread. I hope her contracts are looking at least a little better than old girl. Because I would genuinely like to know, like, is Kate... I've not seen her play like so well and so often that I'm like, oh my God, Caitlin Clark. But these bitches is on top of her. Like, is she number one? Who's number one?
If you ask the American media, it's Caitlin Clark, and she definitely deserves to be in the top conversation.
Absolutely.
And it's Jake talking about women's basketball, so take it, whatever. But
I don't know.
So like last year, the title game was Iowa versus LSU.
And that's
Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese.
They went head to head.
And LSU won. Angel Reese won.
Yep.
And typically the winning team gets to post up at the White House for a day. All sports, And yet Jill fucking Biden invited both teams.
Yeah.
Now, do you think they would have done that if Iowa had won? I fucking doubt it. Those two teams met back up in the Elite Eight this year, so it wasn't the title game. And Iowa won. Caitlin Clark beat Angel Reese. It was like, I guess, a revenge game. And Iowa then won the next round in the Final Four and went to the title game and lost. So Caitlin Clark did not win a ring either of the last 2 years that she blew up.
Damn.
But they still invited her and a lot of her Iowa teammates on SNL like a week or two after that shit. Even though a different team won the championship.
I mean, what is women's basketball? A lovely sport.
The LSU-Iowa rematch, it was on ESPN, and it was ESPN's most viewed basketball broadcast ever. The sport of basketball.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. I
Mad
love that
people tuned in to this shit. And for any sport that's not football, it was the second largest ESPN broadcast ever of a game.
Are you fucking serious? Oh shit! Give them their money. So then why? And so then let's talk about why these contracts are ass or dog shit.
The WNBA, the league minimum salary is $64,000. The WNBA.
But no, shout out women's sports, because when I did work the US Open, I was like obsessed with the women's tennis. I did not give a shit. I was like, all right, Djokovic, I can talk about this every day. Djokovic versus Medvedev. Who give a fuck? For the fourth time today. Like, I don't care to see it. But fucking Coco Gauff v, what was her name? Sabalenka?
Sure.
Could watch that shit over and over and over. It was a beautiful time. And now I guess we getting into women's basketball, women's college basketball too. Let's get it on.
You know what else is cool? Is ice.
Ice.
And you know what they do on ice?
What they do?
They play hockey.
They do. It's women's hockey? They got that?
They started the PWHL, the Professional Women's Hockey League, like this year. It's the inaugural season right now. The teams don't even have names yet. They're going to flesh out all the lore. But for right now, there's like the team that is called New York. Yeah, they've been playing for a few months now. There's like 6 teams across the country. They're gonna, if it
duke it out.
If it does well, they're gonna hopefully add more teams and get excitement going. But what's cool is that it's doing really well.
I like that.
People are selling these shits out.
I think that they can definitely make it, bro. Shout out to my cousin Marie. Because there it is. I've been fucking searching for you, baby girl. Where have you been? Okay, but yeah, shout out to Marie, my cousin Marie. She fucking loves hockey. She was like training at Chelsea Piers. Like she was like, I want to like take hockey classes, and she bought these really cool skates. And she was skating one day, and this guy was like, you should really wear a helmet. I got a concussion not wearing a helmet. You should really wear them. And she was like, nah, I'm cool. She was not cool. She bopped her head on the ice, and she was like, nah, I'm cool. And then we got home, and then she came upstairs, and she was like, okay, I know that we went to Chelsea Piers, but if you told me that we were there 5 minutes ago, I would believe you. And I don't think we were there 5 minutes ago. So I definitely have a concussion. And I was like, damn girl, you really should have wore that helmet. So shout out to Marie. So any of you girls out there, you want to start getting into the National Hockey League or the Women's National Hockey League? Because women can do anything.
Shout out to the Women's National Hockey League.
All women can do anything, and that's the truth. Shout out to my women. Yeah, so let's talk about the news. The country's going to hell in a handbasket, folks. It is what it is. We're gonna do something about it, and when I figure it out, y'all will be the first to know.
Every time that there's a new shocking like low, that's like, wow, okay, now this is where we're at because this is happening. It makes the previous level of hell seem tame by comparison, and you're like, wow, I'm nostalgic for the golden days of 2021 where like it was so fucked up, but not like this.
It's not like this fucked up, except that's the thing. The way the American media is set up, it wasn't pushed to me, or it wasn't shown to me, the horrors of the world and our hands in them. And that's not, you can't use that as like an excuse, because you can always know, like, it's always in your face somehow, somewhere, and you just kind of scroll past it because it's not entertaining to you. And at least when you're a fucking like kid. But now I'm like, damn, there is an issue right in your face every day, everywhere you look. And it's good that we keep talking about it, and it's good that, you know, we get more eyes on it, but this shit is terrifying. And shout out to all the people at the encampments, you know.
The student solidarity with Gaza encampments popping up at universities all across the country.
In different countries, I believe, right?
And across the world.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see whatever image you have in your head of like student protests in the 60s, Vietnam and shit, like whatever your like textbook image is of that shit, that is what is happening right the fuck now across the country.
Except
this
I
week.
feel much more like, or maybe I don't even know if it was more violent, but it feels much more violent and much more surveilled than it was before.
It's definitely more surveilled, but it hasn't been as violent yet as it once got at Kent State, at Jackson State, where
That's true.
They killed student protesters because
they do be killing student protesters.
They brought in the National Guard over a peaceful protest, a move that was being actively threatened by Columbia University like 3 days ago. They, because they were on day 5 of the encampments on the lawn, and there's a negotiation channel ongoing between the students and the university, and they gave them till midnight to like, we got to wrap this up by midnight tonight on day 5, or we're gonna send in the National Guard.
And they still they haven't penetrated it yet. Like more and more people show up at the encampment. They've
arrested a lot of people, but the encampment has only grown in size. Every new overreach of power in response to peaceful protest has been met with more heads, more eyes on it. President Shafiq thought she was going to stifle it by calling in NYPD on night 1. But all she did by calling in NYPD on night 1 on her own students was make sure that one popped up at Yale within a few days. And one popped up at University of Michigan. And now there's fucking dozens of them. Yeah. And like you mentioned, elsewhere in the world too. Yeah.
I know that they're cracking down on Emory in Georgia, and they're making a lot of arrests down there. So the shit, I mean, how can you openly, I feel like it's very strange, like openly as a country, we are very much saying we do not support this. We are actively like putting our lives at risk in certain extreme forms of protests like self-immolation. We have had 3 acts of self-immolation within the span of 6 months? In
5 months, yeah. There was a woman in Atlanta, I think in December.
Does she still remain unnamed?
She still remains unnamed because she just self-immolated in front of the Israeli consulate building or whatever the fuck in Atlanta, in her case. She's still alive, but they swept that story under the rug.
That's right? Insane.
Like any mention of it, it's just that it happened because that was as much as people knew for a second, and then that was now 5 months later still all they know. So Aaron Bushnell knew that, and he knew that if he did this incredible act of protest as like his last act of his life, he had to make sure beforehand that he had mechanisms in place that it would break the threshold or break the mold of the suppression of the story. So he live streamed on Twitch, said that he's about to engage in a extreme act of protest, but compared to what people are going through in Gaza at the hands of their oppressors, it's not extreme at all. And then he said, this is what our ruling class has decided will be normal. And then he put the fucking phone on the ground like he was making a TikTok, but he went right in front of the gate of the Israeli embassy in Washington, D.C. in his military clothes and lit himself on fire and screamed "Free Palestine" until he physically couldn't.
To truly use your life to bring attention to the thousands of people that are being, like, I mean, they're killing hundreds of people every day over, like, what, like 2% now of Gaza's population, or 1.5% of their population is gone or under the rubble. That's like our government saying, this is what you can do. We can drop them some food so that they don't, like, a couple of them don't starve while we supply.
They don't give a shit.
Their absolute enemy with billions. What was it? 20? How many?
The bill that was just signed last week was to give $60 billion to Ukraine, $26 billion to Israel, and ban TikTok if not sold to an American company within 8 or 9 months. All in one bill. There's no real effort to hide their intentions. This bitch Pete Ricketts, a Republican from Nebraska, on the air in discussion of this bill that they signed, saying to the Congress in a video that the public is encouraged if they want to watch, like just on the record, he's saying we're shutting down TikTok because it's too pro-Palestine. It's a narrative that they don't control because every other outlet and the way they're covering the protests, which you may, if you're not paying super attention, have heard or think are anti-Semitic, dangerous places on campus for Jewish people. That's the script that everyone is following incredibly predictably and incredible. They're committed to the fucking bit. It's just not true.
A lot of these groups would literally be like Jews for Palestine. There are so many Jewish people.
Jewish Voice for Peace.
Like, please. I feel like that is the thing that they're like consistently ignoring on the news, is that this is not who here is being anti-Semitic.
There was a story of a Jewish person got stabbed in the eye at one of these, and they were using that as an example of the anti-Semitism.
Did you also see the video?
It was nothing. They were bumped in the eye with the spherical tip of a tiny-ass flag.
Bro.
And they ran with that on all channels for days, that these are violent anti-Semitic protests. And that was the best piece of evidence. If there was something more violent, they would have used that because they would have loved a better video. But the fact that that was all they could hang on to push this narrative tells you how fucking chill these protests are, that they're on the right side of history, and that anyone trying to shut them down are Zionists.
Very weird.
Are on the side of imperialism, on the side of colonialism.
Bro, they attacked. There was a chemical weapons attack at Columbia. They fucking sprayed them with skunk spray, which is like this fucking, it sticks onto your skin, it burns you, and it smells terrible. And that person, what happened to that person? Nothing.
15 of those student protesters were hospitalized from that. Many of them were Jewish. There was no media freak out about it. There was no statement from the president, let alone the governor of New York. Kathy was coming down to Columbia this week to say that this all has to be shut down, flushed out by militarized force if necessary, because it's dangerous, to our Jewish students on campus.
Your Jewish students on campus are on the quad. They're literally at the protest right now.
These kids are not leaving. Absolutely. These kids are barricading into rooms. Some of them are indoors, and the cops are trying to come in and pull them out. And they're blocking the doors with elaborate stacks of furniture. That they've learned from active shooter drills their entire lives growing up in a country that won't do a fucking thing about gun control, but could ban TikTok on a weekend.
And give away
if it's helpful to the narrative.
This is where we're fucking
It turns out that's what we're at. They did call in. There today, bro, as we're recording this on Thursday, there are snipers on roofs at Ohio State University.
Kill the fucking kids?
Well, they're watching.
Well, yeah,
because
they did that before.
They're violent.
To know that you are actively paying for the deaths of innocent people, you don't want people like that around you. And I can't, no, fuck all that. It's a free Palestine.
Yale used its own, Yale school buses to put arrested kids in and bring them to processing. Bro, Columbia and many of these universities can't get the cops to remove people from their own campus that they're students at unless they suspend them. They threaten them with the suspension. If they're suspended, then they can say that they're trespassing on the campus. Yeah. So they suspend all these students. Some of them at Columbia had 15 minutes to get their shit out their dorm, or it was all thrown away.
Your tuition money, you be thinking that your tuition is paying for the dining hall and paying for the heat to be on. That money is going to people who is giving that shit to Lockheed, and everything, and it's going to somebody else that's terrorizing somebody else in another country. So that's where it's going. It's really not just going to the chicken fingers in the fucking dining hall, bitch. But
they're actually financially invested in this shit continuing. And that's what the protests are about, is getting all these universities to pull the roots out, get the fuck out of that shit. And if you won't, then you don't deserve to be an institution that's respected, that we come to exchange knowledge and supposedly better ourselves as humans. They say that, colleges indoctrinate people, right? Kids go to colleges and it's too woke and they turn them all leftist. Well, turns out if you try to think like that, those same colleges that they're saying do that will call in the fucking National Guard to cut that shit out.
Too rowdy. You can talk about it. You can smoke all the weed you want and talk about it, and you can sit on the quad and be like, man, it's really fucked up, man. But if you actually do something about it, your ass is getting kicked out and you're getting your ass beat.
Direct action. That's what needs to happen, because they've figured out a way that there's room in the system for a very vocal expression of pro-Palestine sentiment, but you got to hit them where it counts. There's a guy in Norway who spent 17 days in jail because he broke into a factory and damaged F-35 jet engines that were going to go to the IDF. People making a human linked arm barricade and stopping a ship from leaving a port in Oakland because it was going to ship weapons to Israel.
If there is an ad for it, it's probably not that good. And that rests amongst a lot of things. And you see how many fucking ads were there for just ads for Israel? Just ads for it during fucking the Super Bowl,
the Super Bowl billboards.
The billboards, bro, there is a big ass fucking billboard in the South Bronx and it feels so raw and wrong that you would use this. And it just says never again. And there's a Star of David in the middle. And I'm like, why would you use somebody's grandma's death in the Holocaust, like all these people, 6 million people's deaths and suffering, for you to be like, this, guys, we're gonna kill these people in these people's names because, you know, like, we just don't want that to happen again. Bro, don't you ever come out your mouth and put your words in a dead person's mouth who just fucking went through that. That is, I find it so disgusting. It's disgusting.
The phrase, "this is what the ruling class has decided will be normal,"
is ringing everywhere.
Look around you, because the Prime Minister of Israel got on a mic on the TV and said, "Y'all need to crack down on those college kids," to America. And you know what? America just said, okay, and they did what they were told by Israel. And Colombia was kind of the first thing that was like, we're not leaving last week, and now there's dozens. And like some of them were like popping up and saying, this is like, we're in solidarity with Colombia, but Colombia was like, no, you're not in solidarity with Colombia. Maybe like this idea is spreading and we want it to become popular, and all these colleges who are invested in Israel should do this until their colleges divest. But the focus is on Gaza.
Yeah, the solidarity.
Like, we're all out
Palestine.
here, and it's great that all these colleges are going around, but it's not like because we're trying to win the argument of treating student protesters. We are trying to get money out of the way and just change the public's view on Gaza.
And you bitches would be like, I would have hated slavery. I would have hated the Holocaust. I would have hated the fucking massacre, the genocide of like the Native Americans. I would have hated that, and I would have been like, not me. Bitch, you are not saying a goddamn thing. You are keeping your head down and you are being real quiet right now. And or you're a weirdo.
You gotta take the mask off. You gotta step out of the game. Like, it's encouraged. It's made very easy and very safe to see nothing, say nothing on this topic. Just go about your life, talk about sports, talk about celebrities, what the fuck ever, and have nothing to do with this. Or you could crack that egg and to the public, like, put your body somewhere that it matters. Like, put your voice somewhere that it spreads truth. And
be that ass.
It needs to become popular and irresistible to do that. So like, there will be people there who are there for clout, and there will be people like opportunists, you know, who are coming there to like try to, you know, make a video. That's gonna happen. But like, there's also gonna be people who like are really just learning about this for the first time, and like, shit, they're gonna go because their friends got arrested last night and they can't understand why. And now they're there. Every time that there's been arrests, the numbers have come in bigger in like a y'all can't fuck with us kind of way. And that's amazing.
I'm happy that it's definitely getting bigger, become more and more ungovernable.
When shit starts going sideways, look at these people and how they're being treated for speaking up for less war, for less death. This is what the system does to you if you question this shit in that way. And
divest, just to be like, I don't want to pay for that.
The more regular it is to just see it that way, the more it's over. You know, it's just a matter of how crazy they want to get on their way being dragged out the door, man. Anyway. Yeah. Shit, well, y'all are probably at work.
Oh my God. You're definitely at work. You know, what is something that can make you feel better after that?
Like a little snack.
A little snack. Oh yeah, before you go in, maybe get a little snack.
Thank you for listening to the Morning Bleezy. We came back. We said we're back with our chests to start season 2. Then went away for 2 weeks.
We did.
Because who are we if not ourselves? But now, once again, we're back. So we're back from being back. And shit, we're gonna do this. We're gonna commute with y'all. We're gonna keep smoking.
In Technicolor.
We're gonna keep talking. Y'all can view it.
Yeah.
TheMorningBleezy.com. Arcola TV. The Morning Bleezy on YouTube. Follow The Morning Bleezy on Instagram.
Follow him.
You can't get away from us.
Do it for the gram. We should.
Let's talk about that a different time, but do it for the gram. That's coming. June 15th. Shit. Release date.
Morning Bleezy lighter. Morning Bleezy.
Morning Bleezy shirts. So buy merch. Spread the word.
What I like to do every morning is, I don't know if you guys can see this. This is my Morning Bleezy lighter. You know, I keep it in my bag. I keep it wherever I go. And whenever somebody asks me for a lighter at the Sife, because I'm frequently at the Sife, I pull out the Morning Bleezy lighter and they're like, oh, this is so cute. This is so cute. Where'd you get it? And I'm like, oh, you know, you know, I got this podcast or whatever. So, you know, you could do that. It's super cute. It's super nice. Here's some ASMR for it. That was great. This is the sound of blue. Light blue, big.
Sky blue, some might say.
Then you ruin the ASMR.
They gotta go in. They're still in the parking lot. We're still stringing them along, bro. Go inside. I'm sorry.
Inside.
Go to work.
Bye.
Fuck.